Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're journeying into India's heart using this really evocative text.
That translates to The Pulse of India, a journey through historical heritage.
Exactly. And it's not just, a travelogue. It's more about feeling India's story through its key landmarks.
Right. It covers a huge range, symbols of love, ancient spiritual places, incredible feats of architecture. It's about the narratives in these places.
Yeah, experiencing the stories they hold. So we're going on this kind of auditory journey, letting the sites themselves speak.
Absolutely. The text really invites that deeper connection, doesn't it? Understanding the layers of meaning.
It does. We'll touch on places like the Taj Mahal, obviously, but
Yeah.
also Varanasi, the Qutub Minar, quite a sweep.
A really diverse landscape, emotionally and historically.
Okay, so let's start with arguably the most famous one, the Taj Mahal in Agra. What's the angle in our source material?
Well, it immediately zooms in on the romantic core. It frames it primarily as Shah Jahan's grand gesture for Mumtaz Mahal,
Yeah.
his wife. And the description really emphasizes the visual, that white marble, especially under the moonlight. It captures that almost ethereal, romantic quality.
It feels very focused on that emotional narrative.
Yeah.
But it's not just sight, is it? The text mentions sounds, too.
Subtle ones like the quietness, maybe a breeze, and that distant call to prayer, the azan. It adds layers.
It really does. It helps you sort of imagine being there, feeling the atmosphere. It makes you think, doesn't it, about places tied so strongly to one story.
Definitely. And beyond the personal story, I mean, the Taj also speaks volumes about the Mughal Empire at its peak, right? The craftsmanship, the resources.
Absolutely, the sheer scale of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so from that monument to love, the text shifts us to Varanasi, Kashi, and the Ganges.
A very different energy. Here, the focus is really spiritual. It's presented as this nexus of life, death, and moksha, liberation.
It paints it almost as a living philosophy, not just a city.
Exactly, like that description of the sunrise, the sun's arrival, being treated as a form of worship itself. That's quite powerful.
It really is. And then there's the evening ceremony, the Ganga Arti at Dashashwamedh Ghat. The lamps, the chanting.
The text really tries to evoke that feeling, that sense of, well, divine presence, maybe. You almost hear the temple bells, the conch shells.
It brings those rituals alive through sensory details, more than just describing them.
Which is key, I think, for understanding the depth of devotion there. It immerses you.
Okay, let's move on. Next stop, Delhi, the Qutub Minar. Here the feeling shifts again, doesn't it? Towards maybe power, ambition.
Yes, definitely. Architectural ambition, political statement. It's presented not just as a tall tower, but as a witness to centuries of Delhi's history.
A witness, I like that. The idea that each brick, each layer, holds stories of different rulers, different eras.
Precisely. You see that fusion of Indo-Islamic styles developing over time. It's a chronicle in stone, in a way.
And the text grounds it too, mentioning the wind, the sounds of visitors today. It connects the ancient to the now.
It makes you think about how buildings absorb history. What structures today will tell stories centuries from now?
Good question. And looking closely, the architecture itself tells a story of cultural interaction, using materials from older structures sometimes.
Right, that blend, sometimes smooth, sometimes maybe less so, created something unique.
From Delhi's tower, we head to Rajasthan Amber Fort in Jaipur. Royal grandeur.
Oh, yes. The text really conjures that up. Majestic walls, those intricate windows, and of course the Sheesh Mahal.
The Hall of Mirrors.
Yeah.
Dazzling.
It really aims to transport you back to that Rajput royal era, the powerful warrior clans.
And it hints at the sounds too, doesn't it? Echoes of horse hooves, maybe distant drums.
Exactly. Building that atmosphere of a bygone time, of power and courtly life.
It taps into that fascination with royalty and history. It makes you consider how these grand forts shaped perceptions of power then, how we see them now.
And also how we look after them now. Balancing preservation with access is always a challenge with sites like these.
True. Okay, a complete change of scene next. North to Kashmir, Dal Lake. Paradise on earth.
Ah, yes. The imagery shifts entirely. Floating shikaras, those snow-capped peaks in the distance. It's all about serenity.
There's a poetic quality the text emphasizes.
Definitely. It mentions the gentle sound of water lapping, maybe distant Kashmiri folk music. It's designed to evoke peace, tranquility.
It's a great reminder that heritage isn't just buildings. Landscapes shape culture, too. Have you ever been somewhere that felt like stepping into a poem?
It makes you think about how place inspires art. Kashmir's unique geography is so tied to its cultural identity, its music, its crafts.
So true. Now, somewhere really distinct, Khajuraho, the temples with the speaking stones.
Yes. This is fascinating. The text highlights how the carvings aren't just decorative. They depict, well, everything.
Everything.
Almost. Deities, of course, but also daily life, love, dance, music, even conflict. It's presented as this incredibly comprehensive tapestry of human experience from that time.
So it's more than just a religious site. It's like a philosophy carved in stone.
That's how the text frames it, a very open, detailed look at life and belief. It certainly challenges simple categories.
It makes you really curious about the society that created them, their worldview.
And how we interpret these complex, sometimes very explicit carvings today, centuries later, that's a whole discussion in itself.
Indeed. Okay, moving south now. Hampi in Karnataka. Ruins that speak of past glory.
Yes, the text calls it a reminder of India as the Golden Bird, referencing its historical wealth and power. Hampi was the capital of the Vijayanagara Empire.
And it mentions stones that play music. That sounds intriguing.
Uh-huh. That likely refers to specific pillars in some structures, the musical pillars, which actually produce different tones when tapped. It shows amazing engineering alongside the artistry.
Wow, so these ruins aren't just remnants, they still hold these wonders.
They evoke a powerful sense of time passing, the rise and fall of empires. It's quite poignant.
What places really give you that strong sense of history's weight? Hampi sounds like one.
It really does. And it highlights the richness of South Indian history, which maybe doesn't always get the same focus.
Good point. Okay, next, over to Odisha, the Konark Sun Temple.
Described as this incredible stone chariot for the sun god.
With wheels that represent time itself.
Exactly. The text emphasizes this amazing fusion of, really, science and art. Astronomical knowledge built into the architecture.
How so?
Well, its alignment with the sun's path, the detailed carvings on the wheels that might have functioned like sundials, it shows a really sophisticated understanding for that era.
Integrating science and spiritual belief so seamlessly, that's quite something.
It really makes you appreciate the ingenuity of ancient cultures, and again raises questions about preserving these complex sites.
Absolutely. Further south now to Madurai in Tamil Nadu, the Meenakshi Temple, vibrant.
Very vibrant. The text focuses on the sensory overload, almost. The colors, the art, the palpable devotion.
And it draws a connection between those huge towers, the gopurams.
And the depth of inner feeling, yeah.
Huh.
A sort of metaphor for devotion reaching heights.
Those towers are incredible, aren't they? Covered in sculptures.
Thousands of them. Deities, myths. It exemplifies that really dynamic, colorful South Indian temple culture. It's a multi-sensory experience.
It sounds incredibly immersive. Not just a place to see, but to feel.
And it's a living temple, a vital center for the community in Madurai, with festivals and daily life revolving around it.
Right. Okay, our final stop on this journey, according to the text.
Yeah.
The Ajanta and Ellora Caves.
Ah, yes. Ancient rock-cut wonders. The text talks about the Ajanta paintings, Buddhist monks, Jataka tales.
And the Ellora carvings, representing multiple faiths side by side.
Exactly. Ellora is unique for having Buddhist, Hindu, and Jain temples carved essentially in the same complex. Remarkable. The text describes it as art that breathes within the stone.
Breathe, meaning it feels alive, enduring.
I think so. Capturing how these paintings and sculptures have lasted millennia and still convey such powerful spiritual and artistic expression, it connects you directly to that distant past.
A truly powerful endpoint for this journey through India's pulse.
It really covers so much ground, doesn't it? Both geographically and thematically.
It does. It reminds you that exploring India is this ongoing process, always something new to discover within the old.
Absolutely. Each site holds countless stories beyond what we've touched on.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. As you go about your own day, maybe look at the buildings or places around you.
Yeah, what stories might be embedded there? In your local landmarks, or even just familiar streets, what narratives are waiting?
Or perhaps this dive has sparked an interest to actually visit one of these incredible places in India someday.
To feel that pulse firsthand, that would be quite an experience.